But first, 2 years ago, Deidre sat on our sofa to reveal that after experiencing symptoms, doctors discovered a cluster of malignant cells in her right breast.
So Deidre underwent successful treatment for breast cancer, but her recent annual checkout revealed early signs that, sadly, it has returned.
Never one to shy away from difficult conversations, ever, actually, Deidre.
Well,
ever.
it's my job in a way, isn't it? That's what I do, is help people have difficult conversations. So if I can't have my own, it'd be a poor show.
But it is a truly amazing thing that you're sitting here now and we're going to talk about
thank you.
it. It
Thank
really
you.
is. Deidre's with us now, as well as Dr. Nigat, who's joining us this morning. Good morning. So what happened, Deidre?
So because I had breast cancer 2 years ago, I now get an annual mammogram, and totally to my surprise, the mammogram showed up that I've got, it's a different breast, it's the left breast this time.
Yeah.
And there was it's tiny, but malignant cancer in there. So unfortunately, I have got to have a lumpectomy and followed by radiotherapy. But I mean, I feel lucky, you know, it's been caught early. The treatment's happening very rapidly. I should have surgery on October the 11th, which is like in no time.
Wow.
And this is all on the NHS, so I just think I am so lucky. And it just could be so much worse.
Yeah.
When you went along, had you had any symptoms, Deidre? Nothing like the first time round?
No, nothing. Well, and also, to be honest, I think the symptoms I had the first time around, I think they were a coincidence. They weren't actually a symptom of the cancer itself, as it turned out. But it happened that efficient GP practice put me on the cancer pathway, so I got very rapid check and treatment that time.
So you haven't felt run down, you haven't felt any different at all?
I haven't felt run down, I haven't felt tired, I haven't had any discomfort.
Aches and pains.
If I did a self-check, I couldn't feel anything because it's so tiny, there's nothing to feel. So it's purely down to having the mammogram that showed it up. And then you get referred back, and I had an ultrasound and a biopsy, which then revealed that it was actually a cancer.
And what went through your mind when that diagnosis happened?
Well, this time, to be honest, shock.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I felt fine.
Yeah.
And I was just so taken aback. I just wasn't expecting it at all. And I suppose I just want to bring this in early, because my big point about this, why I really want to talk about it, is that on the NHS system, I'm not sort of criticising it, breast check, mammograms stop, the call for mammogram stops when you're 70. The last one you get is when you're 70. I happen to have been in a cohort of women that got missed. There was a big accident happened that year, and we didn't get called. So I hadn't had, when I got last time, you know, I hadn't had a mammogram since I was 67, so 10 years had gone by. And I hadn't given it a thought. I hadn't thought, oh, no one's called me for a mammogram. Oh, I ought to go, and I didn't know anything about it, really. But what I now know is that if you're over 70, you can request a mammogram on the NHS, and you should get one every 3 years. And I just want to say to everyone out there, please, if you're a woman over 70, request your mammogram, you know, because the reason why I've had quite an easy time, and I'm just having a lumpectomy last time and this time, because it was caught so early. You know, if it's missed for, you know, years, you're so much more likely to have a mastectomy or worse.
So the treatment you will have for this lumpectomy is similar to what you've had?
It's same as I had before, so it's just, I mean, it was same surgeon as it happens. It was just a tiny little thing, you know, so they take it out, followed by radiotherapy, which is completely painless and easy. And that is just so brilliant. And compared with what happens if it's become more advanced, it's transformative.
Yeah. Dr. Nigat, time really is of the essence here, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you recommend to people?
I was actually saying to Deidre backstage, we had a kiss and a cuddle this morning. I was saying 2 years ago, I sat on the sofa when you first came up with the very early signs. And then 2 years later, we'd come back and it's in the other breast. And actually, this is well within what we would see in the remit of someone who's had cancer. And then they will find that it's in the other and the boob as well. Or sometimes in the same boobs, we do have two breasts. And men, there's a small proportion of men that also get breast cancer. So I would say to anybody watching, self-checking is where it starts. So regardless of who you are, what gender, lifelong, once a month. If it's women, if you're still having your periods, then I would say a week after you've had your bleed, having a good feel around. But as Deidre has just said, that actually she didn't pick anything up. And so that's why going to your mammogram appointments is so great. So the screening programme on the NHS starts at the age of 50 and you get invited every 3 years. But it does stop at 70. But you are absolutely entitled to request that after the age of 70, that you still get called every 3 years. And that's simply making a phone call to your local breast screening clinic. And the statistics are amazing. Through breast screening, so I looked at the data from Cancer Research UK, and we found that in 2021, 2022, we don't have the figures for 2023, 2024 fully yet, but 11,000 women were picked up with breast cancer who had no symptoms. So they didn't even feel a breast
Just
lump.
nothing
Nothing.
at all.
So 11,000 women's lives were saved. And actually, that could be very, very early. So time is of the essence, picking it up, going for your screening. And we know that actually it's not the best test for younger women, but women over 50, it is as good as we're going to get at the moment. And there's always constantly research and data. And 5-year survival is nearly 99, 100% post-cancer diagnosis. So women are now outliving their diagnosis of breast cancer,
which is great.
Great.
Why does it stop at 70?
There's lots of different factors. It's because the idea is that the estrogen that affects our cells, well, the effect is lessened as we get older.
Right.
That's not the case for everybody because we make estrogen through our adipose or fat tissue, and our brain constantly makes it as well when we're postmenopausal. And also the idea is that there was a cost implication to it, we have to say that, and demand on services. And actually we found that the rates of cancer were decreasing in women over the age of 70. So it's multifactorial, but those are some of the sort of key highlights.
But
I
actually,
think also as an individual, I just want to say, yes, I mean, I understand about the economics of the NHS. As an individual, get your check.
Yes.
And make that
It's your
request.
health.
And actually, we do have more information. We've got information about how to check yourself. You can head out to This Morning app where Dr. Sarah has a video that tells you all you need to know.
Deidre, obviously, we're here and we're with you every step of this way. I wonder how your family were when they found out, because it's a terrifying time from the outside. You're amazingly positive, and you always have been, but it's scary, right?
Yeah, I think it was a shock to us all, because when I went for the initial check and even had the biopsy, they were so confident that there was nothing there because it's so tiny. So it was a shock for me, and obviously it was a shock for them for me to suddenly have to say, well, I'm sorry, folks, it turns out I have actually got cancer. But, you know, I've got 2 daughters who are just great and, you know, they're just dropping everything to be supportive and drive me to hospital and things like that. I am known as a difficult person to help.
We've probably got a phone line for that, Deidre.
So initially I was saying to my daughter who's taking a day's compassionate leave in order to drive me to hospital, and I was saying, no, it'll be fine, I can get there on the train and she's saying, do you actually want to be alone? Well, no. Well,
Shut up then, listen, I'm coming.
Just let me come and help, you know.
Yeah.
They're great. And I think, like me, I think it helps them to actually be involved, do something, is great. So, no, the family are just wonderful.
Well, thank you.
And I'm lucky that I've got family to be supportive, because I really feel for people who have to go through this sort of thing really
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.